Hello everyone, Dan here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, we'll be doing a spoiler-free review for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 2023. This is a new film. It was just released, if you're watching this, on the week I dropped it. Rated PG with a runtime of 2 hours and 20 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, I read that this was the longest animated feature made in the US. Let me know in the comments if that's true. As of the recording of this video, we have a Rotten Tomato score of 96% for the critics, 97% for the audience. And yeah, I mean, this movie is as close to perfect as you can probably get. Uh, the directors for this movie, Joaquim Dos Santos, Ken Powers, and Justin K. Thompson. And it is written by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller and Dave Calham. In this film, Miles Morales returns for the next chapter of the Spider-Verse saga, an epic adventure that will transport Brooklyn's full-time friendly neighborhood Spider-Man across the multiverse to join forces with Gwen Stacy and a new team of Spider people to face off with a villain more powerful than anything they've encountered before. This movie stars Shamik Moore as Miles Morales, Haley Steinfeld as Gwen Stacy, Oscar Isaac as Miguel O'Hara, Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker, Issa Rae as Jessica Drew, Brian Tyree Henry as Jefferson Davis, who's Miles' dad, and also we have Luna Lauren Velez as Rio Morales, Miles' mom. Um, let's get into it. So I watched this movie on IMAX, which is you want to watch this film in the biggest screen possible. Now I understand the ability of IMAX and Dolby and 4DX and all that stuff is not available everywhere. So I'm just letting you know, whatever screen is the biggest one you can get to, watch it there, because it's definitely a feast for the eyes. So let's start talking about the animation, the look of this film. Um, as we saw in the first film and this one, every character, every Spider-Man comes with their own different style of animation, including Brooklyn, where we are for the for Miles's universe. It has its own little unique touches, and just the accomplishments that this movie manages to achieve with the animation are incredible and a sight to behold. There's just so many things that are so many little details, changes in colors to denote the mood of the action itself, the way it's done, including onomatopoeia, including editor's notes, like all those little things that make this film. Of course, we know we're watching a film, but we also know that it comes from a comic book and the material that it's inspired by. So all those things kind of bring the world to life. There are no missed details here. I will definitely rewatch this film. I'm very excited for the prospect of watching it again. Maybe I'll do a full spoiler review after I watch it the second time. But the animation here is top notch, including the colors, the character designs. Everyone looks so cool. Like Miles has grown up a little bit since we last saw him, and you can definitely tell all the changes. He has a new suit, uh, all the designs for all the different Spider people that we meet all throughout this world. The design of the spot, the villain that we've seen from the trailers. A lot of really really cool stuff. Very cool designs. Just great. If this is a story that you can really only tell as of right now in animation, and it's the perfect medium for it. Of course, the comic books are something that would be able to tell a story like this, but the animation really adds a whole new layer on top of this. Uh, let's talk about the voice performances. I mean, the cast is pretty stacked from what we've seen here, and Shamik Moore just really has captured the heart of who Miles is. But in this movie, we also get a lot of Haley Steinfeld. We get to see a little bit more of who Gwen is and what drives her. And Haley Steinfeld just also very much embodies that as we see the performance here. Um, it's Oscar Isaac. I will never have anything bad to say about that man because his performance is just, as you've seen from the trailers, it can get pretty serious, pretty scary even at some points. There's definitely a lot that went into this, and Oscar Isaac really just manages to bring in something special to his performance. Jake Johnson is a lot of fun. I think him as Peter B. Parker just really he brings a bit of levity and a change in the tone. He's very good at playing opposite Oscar Isaac. I think they balance each other out very well. We also have the inclusion of Issa Rae, who just really captured how badass Jessica Drew is. So that was a lot of fun to see. And then big shout out to both Brian Tyree Henry and Luna Lauren Velez as the parents, because they have a lot to do in this movie, and they do it very well. There's obviously a lot more performances. I don't want to get too much into it to avoid any spoilers. Maybe we'll talk about it if I do another review. But yeah, it was just fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about the story. I think the story itself feels very simple when you look at it on the top level, but it has so many layers and facets here that the more you look into it, the deeper you get into the story. I think the more you get out of it. And this was just a very entertaining ride. It was very well paced. The movie just really makes sure to let you know everything you need to know. Like, you could have really gone into this movie without watching the first film. You probably shouldn't, but because the first film is really good. But you could that's how good this film is. You pick up just kind of in media res and just go for it. And that is just very well done. The story takes you to all the little corners that you need to know, and explores, and it has um, it has a lot of things that lead to the lessons, some of the lessons of the film. Like balancing your family, sacrifice, what it takes to be a Spider-Man, and what that entails, and then also the relationships between all these spider people and how they're intertwined, and how that affects their relationships in the real world, or vice versa, how their relationships in the real world kind of lead them to be part of this spider people group. And it's a really well performed balancing act. Just everything kind of wrapped up in a very neat little package. But overall, like I said, if you just want to take a step back, the story is very simple. The lessons are there. I think everything with Miles' family is really fun to explore, because you get both a little bit of seriousness, but a lot of comedy out of it. Even Miles just trying to be a good student, a good son, and a good Spider-Man. Like, all those things are classic Spider-Man problems. And then you have the deeper things of, like, what are the Spider people trying to achieve, right? What is Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099? What is his true mission? And how that affects everyone around him, including our titular Miles Morales. Uh, Very, very cool stuff. Let's talk about a little bit about the storytelling here. Obviously, this is an animated film that it's not too serious, but it definitely has moments of, like, seriousness when it needs to. Um, I think the movie is just very ambitious. It takes big swings and it delivers on all. Like, a lot of those big swings really connected with me, and I appreciate a movie that takes risks, because this is a gamble. And after the success of the first one, they could have played it a lot safer, and they didn't do that. They are not backing down. The team behind this believes in the material, believes in what they're doing. As you could see, with three directors and three writers, like, there is a big group of people here that are working very hard to make sure that this story is as good as we want it to be, and this movie is as good as it wants us to be, and that ambition really paid off, in my opinion. So, uh, I will say, as I was thinking about it, the only thing that kind of caught me a little bit off guard, that wasn't as good as I expected, was the music and this. I think the sound and the soundtrack itself is very good. I just feel that in the first film they were able to implement a little bit more music that really resonated and enhanced some of the themes and things that were happening in the film. That didn't happen as much here. Maybe it's a different story. It's definitely a different tone for the film. Um, but I think it still would have been. It was a really cool idea that just kind of didn't come back. So, maybe when I watch it again, I'll pay more attention to that. But the sound design and the sound mixing and all that stuff is very good. It was just really more like, there was not like those two or three needle drops that were really fun that added a lot to the film. Maybe this movie didn't need them. I just kind of missed them because it was something that really was a big core part of the first film. I love that scene of Miles singing "Sunflower" in his room, like just all those little details. So that's really my biggest gripe with the film. Um, I think another part that just they you can tell how much these creators care about what they're doing is all the cameos and the fan service. You probably see them online. I'm sure there'll be plenty of lists. I won't go into any of that stuff because I don't, like I said, I don't want to spoil anything. But as a fan of Spider-Man, of a lot of the material, like the comics, the movies, the cartoons, animated shows, like everything that's been out for Spider-Man, um, a lot of those things just really pay off in a really fun ways. So as somebody that's been following this story for a while, I feel like you really are rewarded for just for being a fan, which is cool. Like being rewarded for something that you love doing anyways. It's probably one of the one of the coolest things that can happen in a movie. So I love that. I love that. I will probably do a later video with like some of my favorite cameos and some of my favorite appearances. Maybe talk a little bit more about those performances as well. So yeah. Now we knew going into this is a two-part film. So I didn't penalize the story for not it. You do get a complete story, but there's obviously you kind of left wanting more because this is a part one of two of a story, whereas the first film was a complete thought altogether. So and then the last thing I want to touch on, I think the movie has a lot of soul and spirit, and it truly understands the character of Spider-Man in its many iterations and how the character has evolved. But at the core, there's the spirit of what Spider-Man is supposed to embody. And I know that's kind of different for a lot of people, but to me, this movie just really understood, and it's many iterations of Spider-Man that we see, and the many relationships that are shown throughout the movie. It just really understood what Spider-Man and a hero like that stands for, and a character like that stands for, the challenges that they have to overcome, and even the interactions with them. It's also really cool to see some of the characters, like Peter B. Parker, seeing him come back, Gwen Stacy having them come back. So yeah, I am very excited for the future of the Spider Verse. I think the idea of the Spider Verse is one of the most fun things that has just happened, and the fact that we're here now in a second movie talking about it, it's a testament to that. So go read the comics. I think the first Spider Verse story is one of my favorite Spider Man stories of all time. It's very different from the films, but it also has a lot of those same. A lot of the same spirit and the feeling of the movies. So if you enjoy that, I think you'll definitely enjoy this. The subsequent Spider Verse stories are a little bit different. I think unlike this film, they don't succeed as much as the first iteration. I have to rewatch the first film as well to really see if this movie surpassed that one or not. I'm not really sure at the time, right? I remember I love the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, um, so it'll be fun going back and watching it, comparing it to this one. But overall, once we get all three movies, that's really a complete story. And there's like, they just really build up on each other, and I think that's what really makes things like this a lot of fun. So if you have seen the film, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. Spoiler free. We don't want to spoil anything for anybody that's watching this video. And as always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe. Check out our YouTube shorts where we'll be doing very small breakdowns on some of these characters. I'll begin with some of the characters that are announced up front that are not really spoilers. And then we'll get into a little bit of spoilers in the next couple of days. So let me know which characters you'd like me to do a quick short on. So thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. And thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.